Okay, so now we've got our hero angle for the wide shot, right? We've got the one that we like. This is not it. I think it was somewhere back in here, something like that, right? That's gonna be our hero wide. And then we've got our two angles for our gentleman. We've got our mid that we like the most, which was this one. And then we're gonna jump in and do our 35 wide, which is this one, okay? So again, just using the director, using the stand-in, using whoever, we're getting down to the specifics. And the specifics help everyone on the team. Now everybody knows what we need. It's the same material that we were using before, over the top, diffusion, bounce, neg, we're happy. Okay, next, where do we go from there? Well, let's come back here. We'll grab our camera. Let's jump inside. And next, according to the boards, we're gonna do her angle, right? So let's just make sure we'll walk through it. We already know basically the distance. So we will, actually, can we manually focus on her? Can we autofocus on her this time? Please work, autofocus. Yes. Okay. So we'll go, I think we were on the 40 on the shot that we liked. And we twisted him around more. So we'll get him out of the way in a second. And I want to see some of that road in there because I like that matching road shot. Now let's come out here. We'll get these people out of the way and really set this thing up. So you come this way. Yeah, we're going to use you, but not that much. So maybe like that. But we want to be over your other shoulder, don't we? So we got to move you that way. And then you, I think you're actually, you might be okay there. So come this way. And then we'll shrink down a little bit. And come back a little bit like that. Okay, so we still got to move our man out of the way. So you still go that way a little bit. What did that get us? Still probably not enough. You get where this is going though. We're back in. Okay, that's better. And probably will still come out just a little bit. And our mid shot will be here. All right, this is our world for her mid shot. Now you already start to see what's going on. You start to see what's going to happen when we come around to this shot. Well, we need now the sun to be further that way. We need it to be further along behind her than it is right now, or she's going to get hit in the face with all this sun. So just something to think about for her wide shot. Now, what I would be telling the crew is the exact same thing we talked about before. The setup is the exact same. We're just waiting on the sun. So if we're waiting on the sun, using Sunseeker, it's going to determine, okay, well, how long do we have to wait for the sun to get on this side of the lady, the other side, the back side of her? If it's going to be more than 30 minutes, right? We know we're going to have lunch in the middle of the day. We've already got 5 shots before lunch with our wide, our resolution wide, and the 2 shots in between. That's 4 shots. We know we've got those 4 before lunch. So lunch break, now we're at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, if we need extra time, that's when I would start to think now with the first AD and the director, okay, what can we do to buy ourselves more time at the end of the day or to push these shots later and later? Because the later these go, the better and the easier it's going to be to create them. The better the look it's going to be because the light will be more backy. We'll be able to wrap around more. We'll be able to create more contrast with neg, frame left here. It's just going to be a lot easier. So those are the kind of questions that I would be bringing up. So let's take that still. And then we know that we're going to go to, what are we going to go to? A 35. And we're going to go all the way in. Let's just speed that up if we come this way. Walk like that. So I don't like that thing sticking out the top of her head, so I'd probably come here, bump out, and just ask whoever it was to rotate around 15 degrees. So let's rotate like that. Come in there. So now we're inside the conversation, something like that, right? Feels slightly better. So we'll take that still as well. We bump out, we see our boards. And now that I've got the Artemis stills that I want for this side, this is when I take it over to the team, gaffer, grip, camera, whoever's there that needs to be spoken to. So, okay, this is gonna be our angle for her, which means we have to wait for the sun to get behind her as much as it can, right? It's always gonna be a little bit sidey, but we're gonna want back edge here. We're gonna wanna bounce from this side with our bounces that we've used before. We'll neg on this side, and then we'll add a little tiny leak with our 4x diffusion, okay? That's gonna be our look for here, and then it only gets easier as we go in, right? We know that. So those are the plays that we're gonna, and talking about with the director, I'd be like, okay, we gotta get this road in here. This road is important because it just ties in with the depth. I like the pole over here. I like the pole over here. Nothing is competing with her face. She's close enough to the road to make it feel like she's broken down. Everything is good about this shot. Let's use this. And you're looking for, yes. Yes, everything does look better. Okay, from there, what's next on our storyboards? We go back to our little sheet here. And if we look at our storyboards, we've done shot number 1, shot number 2 we've taken care of. Still have to talk about shot number 3, which is our insert stuff. 4 we just did. 5 already done. And we've talked about 8 and 10 already, which are the same as shot number 1, right? We'll just find it on the day. There's no difference in the lighting. There's no difference in the scheduling or anything like that. So you don't really have to go over that much in that great of detail. It's only if you're adding elements like a passing car or something like that, which usually bogs you down. But for art department, for lighting, for all that stuff, they're basically the same shots, right? For cinematography especially. Okay, so the last one to talk about is this insert shot. Now, the insert shot is going to be a great opportunity. All insert shots, whether it's the classic credit card over the shoulder shot or the cell phone shot, you want to do those at the worst possible time of day because they're usually so tight that you can really recreate them. You don't even have to be at the same location oftentimes. But for us, we know that we're going to want to see this flat tire over here. So let's bump out of here. We'll jump these people out of the way. Grab you, bring you over here, and grab you, bring you over here. We'll come back to the camera. Okay, so we want to see the wheel. Let's come out of here and we'll go wider and we will change the speed to a walk. Okay, so this shot, all we need it to do is be backlit. Like it doesn't have to be pretty at all because it's only going to be, well, we're just about to find out the size that it's going to be. I like a little bit of road in there underneath. I like having the front of the car in there. So let's take it 28. And we'll come back and just scroll through the focal lengths and see which one we like. That one, the tire isn't all the way in. Something like that. Scale up again. 40, back it up a little. Get it in the center. And then we'll do 50, stay in the same spot. And we'll jump it up to 65 and back it up. Okay, so those are our options. We come back here. We're going to talk about it with the director now. We go to our Artemis stills and we just cycle through them. We say, okay, that's our 28. That's our 28 backed up. Then we've got our 35, 35 backed up, 40, and 65, right? We got our 50 there, 40 backed up, which I like having that little bit over there. It just depends on, these are the type of conversations with the director where you're like, okay, what are we trying to highlight here? Is it really all about the wheel? Is it still about the setting? Do we want to tie that in? If the lighting's going to be really bad, we're going to want as tight as we can get, right? Something in here. But I like that depth underneath the car. I like these highlights that are going to be coming towards the car, right? All of these little pings of light just add for contrast. Whereas it gets a little bit boring if you are, if we come back to this camera, where is it? There it is. And you know, the whole time, the grip and the gaffer, if you are in this position where, you know, they can see you down with your Artemis stills, they're already noting the kind of gear that they're going to need. Oh, we need hi-hats. We need a little tiny slider if we want some movement on here. They're already taking note of that stuff. So oftentimes you don't really have to say stuff. They're tuned in or clued in enough to be aware of what's going on. So if we go into this camera, now if it's all about the tire, right? Do we want to be somewhere in there? Is there like a really key detail that we need to see in here? Let's open up here too, just so we can see what we're doing. You know, does it have to be something like that? It certainly doesn't bring around the environment. It doesn't make you feel like you're in it because it's so detail oriented. I think I prefer something set back a little bit like this and a little bit over. We'll get the reflections in the car. That's also something to think about. Like I'd be telling, hey, the grips, we're gonna have to black the camera and take it like that. Okay, so if we go back to our boards, now this appears, that's our really tight in shot. And that's our, this is where I feel like it's best, maybe a little bit tighter. So we lose some of that door. Where is it? Something like that, right? Lose some of that door because it's not that interesting. And again, now you can cycle through these on your own time. It's more, if you're doing it on the day, at least everyone around you sees what you're talking about, gets a general idea, knows the equipment. And so from here, after the tech scout, what's going to happen is the first AD is going to go away. You're going to have that conversation with the director, first AD, producer, of getting a rough schedule in. they're going to send out the rough schedule, and everyone has their opportunity to chime in and say, this isn't enough time for us, or a red flag here, or can we do it a different way? So that's where the process goes from here, right? We take these stills, we're going to make these into storyboards. We're going to incorporate the storyboards in with the schedule. Everybody gets a chance to put a rebuttal in on the schedule of say, this is no good, this is good, or this is where we can save time or not. And that's a key time for a cinematographer to get in those last minute things before the shoot. And then that's it, we're away and shooting. So that's a look at the live Tech Scout process. Hopefully that helps you understand how and where you should be spending your time on the day.